Don't be afraid to use hard money. That property in 10 years is going to be worth so much more.
Evan Darnell is a bold real estate investor who walked away from comfort, trusted his faith, and built a powerful business from the ground up. Get ready for a conversation about risk, resilience, and building something that lasts.
So how did you originally get started in real estate?
As a young boy, I used to go to my grandfather's rental properties.
What was that like when you decided to make the jump?
It was scary, honestly, but it was the best thing I've ever done. I want everybody to win. If you bless people and you put it out there, it just keeps coming back.
All right, guys, you're listening to another episode of the Wholesaling Syndicate podcast. Very excited today to have a great guest on. We have Evan Darnell. For people who might not know who you are yet, do you want to give a quick introduction on who Evan is?
Absolutely. My name's Evan Darnell, 35 years old, live in Amarillo, Texas. Been born and raised in the Panhandle my whole life. Went away for college, kind of went all over Texas. And Amarillo has a way of sucking you back in here. So been back here since I was about 23, I think, and about 13 years.
I love it, man. So how did you originally get started in real estate?
Yep. So as a young boy, I used to go to my grandfather's rental properties and we'd have me do this and that. And my grandpa, he was very successful. He was a city commissioner at one point, built a bunch of apartments, big portfolio. And then he was such a nice person that he helped out family, this and that, anybody need anything. So when he died, he really didn't have a ton of assets to leave me behind. But I saw the model. I saw, I'm like, okay, this is how you have your money work for you. It's kind of like before the rich dad, poor dad stuff and before bigger pockets. Both of my uncles are pretty well off too. One of them owns like 400 doors apartments wise, and another one's a big time builder. But they never really had the time to spend with me. They're so busy, they don't have time to hold my hand. And the stuff that I would say would be like, you don't know what you're talking about. So it was a lot of bigger pockets. It was a lot of research, trial and error. I actually got started with my first property was in residential assisted living. My mom is a nurse by trade, and she has a couple residential assisted livings and they make good money. So I saw that. I was like, hey, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. Came back to Amarillo. So I was like, all right, I guess let's get going. That was my grandpa did help me with that. He helped me get my first loan for that and was able to grow that. Ended up getting another one, graduated and ended up going into medical sales for about 5 years. So I worked for a home health hospice company. We would administer IV antibiotics and stuff like that. So it was my job to go and talk to the doctors and schmooze the nurses, try to get them to use my company. And so I really learned a lot about sales and people and asking for the business, really. And funny about golfing, we were just talking about, I was playing in a medical golf tournament on a Friday and I turned my timesheet in early and I never did that. So my boss knew something was up. And I was the best rep. I was the top rep at the company out of four. My numbers were good. I was always performing in the top percent of the company. So they really didn't mess with me, but she had it out for me. So she drove around to every golf course in Amarillo and found my truck. Somehow somebody told her I was there. So she calls me on this Zoom meeting and is like, hey, you need to be on a Zoom with our higher boss in 5 minutes. And I'm freaking halfway across the course.
Yeah.
So I was with part. So I just sprint across the whole golf course, get into my truck, huffing and puffing, hop on the call. They made some bogus call up. And then she's like, we knew you were golfing. And so she's like, and you're going to be now every Friday spending it in the office with me from when you finish your calls on Friday until 5. And at that point in time, I realized I said, screw this, dude. I'm going out full-time investing. I had been doing some wholesales and flips just like on the side here or there. I was getting my beak wet. And then after that, I just went full-time, said, screw it, quit my job, had a new baby on the way. And it was scary, honestly, but it was the best thing I've ever done.
I love it, man. So when was that when you decided to burn
So
the
that's
midnight
been
oil?
about 6 years ago now, five and a half, six, somewhere around there.
Nice. So what was that like when you decided to make the jump? Was it just that was a big pivotal moment and just being dicks and thinking you went
Yeah,
across
it
the golf
was.
course?
But I always was seeing my grandfather. I knew I wanted to work for myself. I owned a residential assisted living, and that's hard work, dude. We staff nurse aides, 24-hour care. They take care of them, and then I oversee them. But that's people's lives. When
Hmm.
my painter doesn't show up, easy peasy. I'll find another painter. When your worker doesn't show up, who's supposed to be there to take care of this person for a 12-hour shift, sometimes you have to go in there and work if they don't show up. And so that's what sucks. So I was like, I don't ever want to do that again. And I started a trucking company when I was younger, lost like 60 grand on that one. Just believe in people, not really looking at the numbers. And so but that's always been is
Mhm.
just jump in, figure it out, and we'll put the pieces together after we kind of make a mess. But so no, it was scary. My wife, she was like, she didn't really know how to feel about it. And then fast forward, she ended up quitting her job now 3 years ago to stay home with the kids. And so God has just been providing for me and opening doors. And when it's scary and it doesn't seem like it's going to work, we just put our faith in Him. And every single time He's brought us through. And I've made more money every year than I have my previous year since I quit. So
Nice.
it was definitely, I feel like, the right decision.
That's awesome, man. I love those stories for sure. Because I feel like a lot of people just like just sit on the edge and just like wonder and wait, like when's the right time or should I do it? And no matter when you do it, there's always gonna be that fear and uncertainty. But yeah, I think you just have faith and do the work and it's gonna pay off for sure.
Yep,
So
absolutely, absolutely.
growing up, having those like having your grandfather and your uncles been having that experience and seeing it, was there any like big lessons you got from them, or is there anything to take away, or what can you point to like one moment that like you got the itch, okay, I want to do this?
So, yeah, one thing they taught me was one, it was resiliency because through all the trials, I saw some ups and downs. They never really gave up. And I used to do credit repair for my
Hmm.
uncle who sold homes. And he would find these people, not that great credit, get them approved for a loan, sell them a house. And it was this huge untapped market. That, and then he was taking homes and trade-ins for new builds. He was
Hmm.
doing it before anybody. So I saw this, but I remember, okay, you want me to do what? And I was like, I'd ask him every little question. Do I need to do this? Do I need to do this? And finally he said, I don't have time to train you. I don't, he said, here's a book, sit down, figure it out. And that really opened my eyes. I was like, damn, okay, I gotta either sink or swim on this deal. And it's pretty nerve-wracking. I think I was 17 at the time. And that's what it is. And it's funny because my nephew's working for me now. And I'm telling him the same thing. He calls me about everything. I'm like, dude, yeah, you need to figure it out. I don't have time to tell you everything. Use your own judgment. And it's good. It's something that I think can carry on for the rest of your life is figure it out. Don't
Mm.
wait for people.
That's a huge goal. Though. I feel like that's such a mindset shift. I feel like especially for a lot of people with their backgrounds, working for the people and having a boss and being micromanaged, it's like I think once you realize like everything's figure outable, and especially with Google and AI, like literally any problem you have, you can figure it out. You just have to do it,
Yeah,
right? So,
nowadays especially, dude. The game is changing, which you guys are like at the forefront of everything, which is pretty incredible. I need to really take some time and work some more on AI and prompting and stuff. But yeah, it's
yeah, it's
pretty
huge,
crazy.
man. Yeah, I'm like the least like handy person in the world. Like I fixed my dishwasher with AI. Just like I was taking pictures and like sending it to Grok, and I'm like, hey, like what do I do
No,
now? And they're like, do this and do that. You
no.
need this part. I'm like, yeah, fuck. I'm like, yeah, I feel like a badass after. I'm like, yeah, dude.
That's tight.
Yeah, I'm like those dishes are clean as fuck now.
Yeah, buddy. That's awesome.
But no, I love that, man. I know a lot of your business is from word of mouth. You kind of
Definitely.
walk us through what your business looks like now and
Yeah,
what it looks like.
absolutely.
You generate word of mouth business.
Yep, yep. So right now I've owned some smaller apartments, like 30 to 50, owned some storage, but mostly really what I've done is single family houses. And I'm over 50 doors now. My cover's around there right now. I've been selling some stuff off. Me and some partners are selling some stuff, and then I'm acquiring more. But really my model is I created a Facebook group, Amarillo Buyers Club. And just from my organic social media posting, I've got about 5,200 friends on Facebook. And from the medical field and from all the different avenues I've done, I know a ton of people in this area. And so just prompting them like, hey, if you have a house that's maybe distressed, you inherited it. And really, I love taking videos in the houses after I buy them. And I just paint a picture of this is the house I'm looking for. And so it's boom. And then now I've really started to tap into the realtor market. I just bought a smoker in Canyon. A realtor bought it to me. Their buyer backed out because they found some mold in it. I go over there. There's literally just a little mold in the hot water heater closet. And I was able to get this thing 40 grand cheaper than the amount of a wholesaler brought me like 2 weeks earlier. So I know how to negotiate. I came in, I said, hey, this is my price. This is where I'm at. If you want it, cool. If not, no pressure. And they were ready to make a deal. And like I said, I'm using Investor Plug, shout out. But then a ton of my stuff is still organic. It's word of mouth, it's friends, it's people who see me and just send me deals and they convert. Like my conversion versus my regular mailers and cold calling, those deals flake out so easy. There's multiple airs, this, that. It seems like I've gotten so spoiled because these leads convert 99% of the time. They're motivated, there's nobody else working them, and the return is infinite because I'm not paying anything. But man, I'm just turning and burning lately. It's been awesome.
I love that, man. Yeah, I feel like it's something not a lot of people talk about, and like they're my favorite leads to get. I think like most of our investment clients, like 80% is word of mouth, and it's just so much easier when the person already like knows you guys do a good job, and you already have that connection because you guys both know somebody. What if someone's like brand new, they're a new wholesaler, or even they're more experienced, but they're relying on PPL and PPC and just like all paid stuff? What would you advise them to do, or like what steps should they take to start becoming like the local guy or like the go-to and start generating those word of mouth referrals?
For sure. Yeah, I get that question all the time too. So find some lead source and stick to it. I've always really liked probate leads, pre-probate, and divorce. There's always motivation there. I've loved like that. I live in those. I've tried foreclosure. There's a lot of stuff, and sometimes you get the payoff, and there's no money there. Yeah, to find a lead source. You can buy the list for cheap, and then just call them. Stay continuous with it, take action, and don't be afraid to use hard money. Hard money in starting out, it can be a game changer. I was able to grow because I was able to get credit lines because I had a good sales job.
Hmm?
And so I was able to use my equity in my residential assisted living plus my good income and my wife's income. And I got credit lines, which, look, you're not paying the fees. But if you can't do that or you don't have that access, hard money is the way to go all day. Freaking pay the money up front. That property in 10 years is going to be worth so much more. You're not even worried about it. You're getting deals. I wouldn't flip in the beginning. I'd just wholesale. So yeah, it's all a numbers game. Pick up the phone. You know how
Yeah,
it is.
for sure. And then going back to the word of mouth referrals, is there anything, do you like follow up with people, be like, hey, stay top of mind, or what do you do? Do you just provide like a really do a good job and do what you say you're going to do? Or what do you do to like have these realtors and these other people like in your town think of you first?
Dude, okay, so here's a perfect example. Okay, I bought a house from a realtor. It was her grandma's next door neighbor. She was really wanting to buy it for herself, but ended up that lady needed to close quick. She thought she was going to lose it, so she brought me in. So I
Mm,
got a spoken deal on it. I thought it was going to have some foundation issues that we didn't end up having to do. And so I paid her 3 grand referral fee on that. And then we just went back after I finished the remodel and did a video like, hey, promoting you, thank you, you're a great realtor. And then I bust out another $2,000 check for her on camera. Like she didn't know it was coming. Hey, I appreciate you taking a discounted fee, but thank you. This is for you. Not only did I want to do that, but that will go such a long way at showing people like, hey, I want everybody to win. A lot of investors try to cut out the realtor. They're trying to pay 1%. I'm like, hey, we're going to pay you 3% on this. Bring me your deals. And I'm bringing these repeat customers, these repeat people that are bringing me deals. And it's abundance mentality. Everybody's winning. And I just shout that out. I keep posting. I post in my buyers group once a day, just like stuff about prop stream for data or free people finder or title, just stuff about investing. Them some, what am I trying to say? You give them a little bit of not credibility, but either way, I'm just teaching them,
yeah,
giving them.
trying to
And then
find ways to
it
add
comes
value.
back and fold. And then on my regular page, I have a social media guy that just pumps out reels and stuff like that all the time. And it's been awesome, man.
Yeah, that's huge. No, I think that's such a great gold nugget there, and it's like such a good mindset shift for people. I feel like just having the abundance mentality. Like even a lot of big guys I know here in town that are like big social media profiles and do a lot of deals are just like real like scarcity or shicey, just like they don't want anyone else to get paid but them. And
Yeah,
they're
you
like they're
can't
trying to
be like
realtors,
that,
like they're trying
bro.
to give them like less than $1,000, and the wholesaler brings them a deal, like they get less than $1,000, and they're the only ones eating. And it's like when I first started, I did deals with them, and I'm like, oh, and they're like, we did one deal. I'm like, I'm never bringing you another deal, man. I didn't feel good about it afterwards. I wouldn't recommend anyone do deals with them after. And it just the last thing, I feel like you just don't want to leave a bad taste in someone's mouth, because name the games that repeat business, like you said, like that's when it starts to become a machine, and it becomes a lot easier when you can make a lot more money over the long run too than just trying to whack someone over the head the first time.
Exactly. I know, absolutely. And it feels good too, you know what I'm saying? I've paid out a ton of money but it just keeps coming back. Let's talk about God and everything, but I feel if you bless people and you put it out there, it just keeps coming back. You know what I'm saying? It's proven me right every single time. I'm known for that guy in this area. Like, hey, he's fair. He's not going to rip your grandma off. I have realtors tell me that all the time. I know you're not going to take advantage of her. And it's like, and I come in with a low offer, but I'm going to explain, like, hey, look, I lost money on these flips, and this is why. The market, you're going off comps that are crazy high. I'm pretty conservative. Look, this is just where I need to be to ensure I don't lose money and I can make some money. And then most of the time, they're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense for sure. But these realtors, they're talking to, you know how it is marketing. It costs a lot of money to get in front of a lot of people. Realtors are free. They're talking to 50 people a month, roughly, whatever. But and say you've got 20 good realtors, that's a shit ton of contacts you're touching. So not all of them. I get a ton of crap deals sent to me, but that's just part of it. You just train on what you're looking for.
Yeah. Do you have any? Because I know that's one of the things that's like frustrating for everyone is just like weeding through the bad deals. Do you have a system or a way, or just like things that you look for to try to be more efficient, or like quickly try to find the good deals through the bad ones?
Man, I'll be honest. It's hard. You can go off price per square foot, or they'll give you an idea of what it looks like. A lot of times you just have to go. There was one I made a 40K rip off of that I almost didn't go to the appointment because it was in the hood. But I go to these houses, and these houses were completely remodeled. Stucco, windows, roof, central heat and air, new flooring, like everything. And I was like, man, and it ended up sold it, made 40K on the deal, wholesaled it, and it was a great one. So you never really know. I'm trying to shout out Travis Wells. I'm in his hotel group. He's really helped me. I got a VA now who's handling she just EDAtes too. She does all my coordinating, calendar, property management, leasing, all that. And it's freed me up to be able to spend more time doing what I want, either playing golf or going out getting leads, making videos. So I'm trying to be more in the office versus checking up on my workers, making sure they tiled or siliconed the corner of this tile, or just stuff like that's not making me money.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that answered your
No,
question.
I think that's great for sure. Yeah, I think just you getting your time back, and I'm sure being local and knowing your market too. But I think you're sometimes just getting eyes on it. Yeah, it's huge, especially as being the end buyer. And I think, yeah, having we were, when I was playing golf with Travis and RJ's thing, and he was trying to get me on, like, you need to get an assistant and saying what a game changer it is. And I've
It
been
is,
slacking it. I
bro.
definitely need to do that myself.
It's a lot of training, but it's been amazing, dude. Touch base with her once a day. Gave her a list of what did I tell her to do? Like she's putting all my rental property pictures and files together. So if we want to go and list them, they're all there. Switch the deed over, email my insurance lady about my escrowed property taxes, just all the stuff that I would spend or really wouldn't even do, just put it off until I had to.
Hmm.
Now I have somebody. And then with AI, if you can, I guess Travis believes that VAs still have a place in the
For
world,
sure.
and I think they do for the more not as cut and dry. But then if you got AI, like y'all offer mixed in with a VA, and then you have organic leads, and then you have your actual paid marketing that you're doing. I can't wait till I really step it up on my paid. I think I'm gonna just double my business again.
100%. Not paid's huge. Yeah, especially you can just get like targeted lists and just retarget and like just hit the people that like already know who you are, and then they just see you everywhere. And so it's just some people be like, "Oh, it's a sign. Yeah, I keep seeing you everywhere." Yeah, it's just that the power of being top of mind is just huge.
It is absolutely for
But
sure.
no, I definitely think VA still have a place for sure. And I think if you can train them on AI and then combine those two things together and get them to be more efficient, it's like, yeah, I think that they're not going anywhere for sure. But I don't know, man. So go back to golf. You're an avid golfer. Just went down to the Ryder Cup. Have you
Yeah,
found that was that translated like to business at all?
I'll tell you the amount of relationships that I've made through golf, because it's like a bunch of rich old dudes. I'm a member at the country club here, and I haven't started raising money, but when I do, I have a lot of people I can go to. And
Mm,
that's, I think, the next step for me is get out of single family, go into bigger deals,
mm,
commercial, multifamily. I'm looking at a 20 unit apartment right now. So I'm trying to step up, keep going. That's what there's this one guy that Travis had on, super successful dude, had 5,000 doors, I think. And he was like, I got news for you guys. Your kids don't want your crappy rental properties. And
mm,
that was like, it hit me. I was like, damn, all right, you're right. It's hard to manage 50 rentals versus, hey, give them a nice commercial complex or an apartment complex or bigger assets, easier to manage, mobile home park, something that it's less hands off. So I think that's the next step is going that way. But yeah,
for
golf,
sure.
I freaking love golf. It's like so challenging, stupid game. Clubs shaped weird. It's just everything about it is worse. But you're playing out there in the most beautiful place in town. You're with your buddies, and I can really shut off. Like I
Mm.
obsess over stuff. But when I'm out there, like I focus in on it, and I'm almost too like in my head sometimes, overthinking it, this and that. But man, when you hit a good shot, there's nothing better.
Yeah, that it's great. Yeah, like I said, I started playing like exactly a year ago now, and yeah, I just didn't think I'd like it, and went out to try it, and yeah, some buddies told me how great it was, and tried it, and I'm like, oh wow, I just been addicted since.
I know. I just hate that it takes 5 hours.
Yeah, it's a
And it's
lot.
like, it's not efficient, but I play during the week now. And so I'm home usually by 5. So the wife doesn't really mind. And that's where life is right now. Pretty pumped about it.
Yes, tell me about the country club. So what's it like? How does that work being part of a country club? I know you said, how do you meet people through there? Do you play rounds with them, or what does being a member look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's funny, when I first went, I had no idea. I didn't grow up with a country club or anything like that. So you just start meeting people little by little. So you join, and then usually you'll know a few people. And then a lot of times people meet is through the tournaments. They'll put on a member tournament. They'll put on a member guest tournament. So it's like a member brings a guest. They have these scrambles here and there. They have a pool. So in the summers, up there in the evenings, you meet other families with similar kids that are your age. And then they do this thing, it's called MGA, Men's Golf Association. And it's every Thursday night, you go play 9 holes, and they'll put you with a different group of guys every time. So you're meeting all these old men, business lawyers, old money, oil, all that stuff. So you rub elbows with people like that. And then I don't typically talk about real estate out there, but I'll become their friend, and then we'll become Facebook friends. And then
Mm,
they see me throwing up everything about real estate. And then that's when it's like, hey, I want to buy some rental property. And I'm like, all right. So got another buyer. And I just got asked to go on a men's golf trip through the club to Vegas in April. So that'll be tight. There's
yeah,
50 men. So I'm sure I'll meet different people. My buddy who's a financial planner or whatever, I'm sure he gets all his business through just meeting people through golf. That's why he goes to all these events and
yeah,
so I think it mirrors it in a way.
yeah. No, yeah, being something you love and meeting people, yeah, it's not a bad way to spend your day for sure.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I'd like my kids to grow up there. I don't want them to be snotty little brats, but it'd be cool. I would have loved to grow up in a country club,
Yeah,
going to the pool in the summers with my buddies, going to play golf. I would have loved that to have that when I was younger. You always want more for your kids.
yeah, for sure. Well, man, so working with that, one thing I want to touch on too, I know before you were talking about how like you get a lot of deals. Are there things that realtors, wholesalers, anyone that's sending you deals that they do that you like, that you wish more people did? Or are there any like big things that you see people doing wrong when they send you deals as an end buyer? Are there anything people can do better to build good
Oh, yeah, I got it.
relationships?
I got it. He's good. So I hate it when people send me multiple pictures, like through just here's 40 pictures, let them download. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Dropbox, get a Dropbox, get something where you can combine all those photos together. Put in there. I see so many people not putting how many square feet. Give me some good comps. You need to make this as easy as possible, because in this world we're so distracted and I got a million other things. You need to tell me why I'm going to buy your deal and why it's a good deal. And so many people are just lazy on it that way. That, and then what else? Some things that I like that or don't like. Yeah, I guess just giving me the info. It's so much funny. People like use the CAD, the county property taxes as like, oh, it's 40,000 under CAD. I'm like, that doesn't mean anything,
Yeah.
especially in a higher end neighborhood. It's like there's no room there. But and then I see a lot of realtors don't know what it takes to rehab a house. Really, how the numbers work on a rental, where you need to buy it versus like a 1.3% deal for it to cash flow. So they'll be like, oh, this house is $70 a square foot. And I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound bad. Send it to me. It's a 2,500 square foot house in a 1,000 square foot neighborhood. And so they got it priced at 70 a square foot, but it's still three times what another house in the neighborhood would be. Stuff like that, silly things like that. But it never really bothers me when they send me bad deals, when they send me, I know the people who are typically sending good deals, but I don't even really buy from wholesalers that much anymore because I know where they probably bought it at, and I want to be at that margin.
Yeah.
I'll do it every now and again to keep my guys busy. I've got two full-time guys that work for me. They do my maintenance, they do all my make readies, and then I've got my electrician, plumber, heating and air guy, roofer, all that. But my dudes go in, gut it, clean it, flooring, paint. We always put granite in, not Formica. It's cheap. I can get it like a house done for like 1,900 bucks for granite, and it lasts forever versus the freaking Formica pills on the corners. I've got my renting procedures down. We don't take this dogs over this way, like super strict. And I'll wait on stuff and let it sit vacant versus just throwing somebody in there.
Mm.
I just now broke my rule and I felt weird about it. They had four kids in a two-bedroom house and a trailer on the outskirts. Dude had decent credit, made good money. They weren't married. They've been living together for a year. And I was like really trying to give them a chance. They've been in there 2 weeks and the dude message, or no, the wife message, or the girlfriend, she messages me, hey, there's been domestic abuse. He's kicked out of the house. And I'm like, oh my God, I just knew it. In the same house, this was a second renter, and it's a nice brick house. And they kicked the dude split up with his girlfriend. He made over 100 grand a year. He pieced out, moved out of town, skipped rent, didn't pay his break his lease or anything. So the neighbors were already sick of it, and now I put these people in here. She can't afford to live there. He's gone. Probably end up. I even offered to give her money. I was like, "Hey, I'll give you your deposit and your first month's rent back, so you can find something you can afford." And I don't think she's going to do it. She's digging her heels in. She can't afford this house by herself. But
Yeah.
so it's just like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I can't imagine it. I'm like, I used to think I want to have a lot of rentals and do all this shit. I'm like, it sounds like everyone I talk to, I'm like, it just sounds awful.
Dude, it's terrible. It's terrible. Every day I say, like, why do I do this? Because I like the remodels, but then people trash them. My house is so nice, and they get trashed every single time. It's almost always a repaint. The flooring's cracking. The dogs screw this up. I don't put carpet in them. But supposedly it's a way to build wealth.
Do you
I've
ever,
seen
do you just stick people in there? Do you ever do like seller finance or wraps or anything?
Yeah, I do, dude. I got a wrap right now that I make 700 bucks a month on it. Paid for clockwork for 2 years. Bought it, didn't need much work. Gave this lady a little money. Paid the realtor's commission, and then turned around immediately wrapped it for 700 bucks more. Pays on time. It's been great, easy. And then I
No
had one
headaches.
that I did owner finance, and we had to foreclose, and it went 8 months unpaid mortgage. Any money we did make was eaten up in the waiting and attorneys, and so I try to stay away from it. I
Yeah.
like to finance to investors because it's
Hmm.
not near as strict, and you can kick them out pretty quick. Versus if it's owner occupied, it takes a lot longer. You got to get attorneys, and it can be a pain in the butt.
That makes sense. Yeah, and everyone says it's easier, but I makes sense. If you have to get through the whole foreclosure thing, it sounds like another nightmare in itself.
It can be. Yeah, for sure, for sure. So that's what I have some sub to. Funny story, my personal house is subject to. It's a
Hmm.
dope house. Right off the canyon, has a 3,000 square foot party barn behind it, two-story, central heat and air. I got a golf simulator in there. And I took it over subject to. It was from a divorce lead. The couple was They were splitting up, walking away, and she was about to just let the house go back to the bank. And I came in, I was like, hey, I'll give you 30 grand. I'll take over your mortgage. It was like 4%. And we had to put some money into the house for sure. I think that's why she didn't want to sell it. It's because it just needed, and they just didn't take care of it for about 4 years. But it turned into an amazing house. I'll probably live there forever. But sub two can be dope. It's always sub two, wrap, wholesale, flip, hotel, really whatever the deal. That's why I've been able to make money
Mm,
more than the previous year, is because I learn more. I learn how to take a deal that maybe not, and if it's not, I'll refer it to a realtor, make a little commission off of her. So it's not that I'm doing more, it's just I'm doing more with what I have. If
no, I
that
love
makes sense.
that. No, I think that's a huge game changer. I know it's for me and for a lot of people. Like it's once you learn those things, even if you're new and you don't know all these things, but just like knowing what situation it could come into play and like having someone to partner with on it. Like
Yeah.
there's so many deals most people are just leaving on the table just because they're just trying to fit a square peg in a round circle. And it's like a lot of people, especially realtors or even wholesalers, they'll see like this is it. Like it either fits this route or like nothing. And they just don't see why it is. But I feel like once you start to open your mind and be like, hey, maybe there's this subject too, or yeah, whatever, innovations or something like maybe just you don't understand it.
Yeah,
Like
innovation, yes, yes.
once you realize, hey, this is why, like if that adds value to the seller, this is why when it would come into play and like who it would work for. I feel like that's just such a game changer for your business when you start to realize, like usually like I know every time I learn something new or like a new strategy I can implement, I'm like, oh, there's so many deals you think of in the past that you could have made money on.
Oh, I know, dude. I've let so many slip me by. That's what I've noticed too. It's like stuff that's not necessarily, I'm like, "Ah, I wouldn't buy it at that price," but then I realize how many other people there are who would pay that.
Mm,
So I try not to get stuff under with an option and drop it. That's just, this is such a small town that it's
mm.
easy to build a bad reputation. But it's some of those times I'm like, man, I'll be upfront with them. Okay, let me market it for you. Let me see if I can get an investor. And most of the time they're pretty cool with it.
Yeah, 100%. I think it just comes down to communication. I feel like every time I've had to, as long as you communicate with people, let them know. Yeah, it's usually not as bad. Obviously, you get some people that are pissed, but it's way less than a lot of wholesalers who are just still literally know they can't do anything with it. They don't have any buyers. They lock it up way too high, and they wait till the very last day and then try to get an extension or something, and still don't do anything with it. And then like they stop all their prospecting and they're just trying to make this deal work that's not going to work that nobody wants, and everybody told them they don't want it, and they're mad that nobody wants it.
Yeah, for sure. And you live in San Antonio proper?
I do, yeah.
Nice, hell yeah. Yeah, I love San Antonio. That's what I'm trying to get my brother-in-law to get into it. He just graduated college with a business degree and he's had a hard time finding employment. I'm like, that's you just graduated college with a business and bachelor's and just tough getting his foot in the door. And so I'm trying to, he's actually started just calling agents and stuff in San Antonio. So I may have him as boots on the ground and start doing some marketing and stuff
Hmm.
there.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions or you got anything about San Antonio, definitely let me know. But
It's
nah,
pretty competitive there, right?
yeah, there's a
I
lot of
know,
people.
dude. It seems like it.
Yeah, we got New
I
West
talked
Family Net
to,
Worth, a whole bunch of people a bunch of people doing these
yes,
deals.
yes. I talked to a realtor the other day on a house. They said that the seller was motivated. It's an as is deal, needs some work. But I was like, okay, I know we can't come together on our offer, but is it okay if I call back in just a month and see if it's still available? And the dude was just like, not having it. No, we don't, there's no need to call back if you can't. We're not coming off our number, and it was pretty high. I was like, man, either this dude's a dick or it's super competitive there. And there's so many other buyers that it's just that the attitude isn't like, hey, the market sucks right now. It's like, we'll find another buyer. Just a
Yeah,
little different
they
what I'm
just a lot
seeing
of
here.
jaded people are jaded, especially agents. And there's just like a lot of wholesalers that don't really do it the right way too. So I feel like a lot of them are just like have their guard up for sure.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I think people are just pretty guarded. I think that's most things. Like, oh, it's like usually just the reason someone's being a dick is because they're being guarded, and so you can figure out why they're doing that. Usually you can try to break through. Not all the time. Some people are just assholes, obviously. But no, I think it's a good market. There's definitely still a lot of opportunity. But yeah, no, definitely a lot of competition for sure. Yeah, it's funny because I moved here. I'm like, oh, San Antonio, a good market. I moved from Austin and down to here. And I'm like, oh, San Antonio, good. It makes a lot more sense for the rental rates compared to the things we're selling for at the time. And then
Mm.
I didn't even realize I probably should have looked at it before I started wholesaling, but I'm like, oh, it's like literally one of the most competitive markets like in the country. I'm like, oh. But
I
forced me to get
believe.
good. I had to learn some shit.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's all about the follow up, you know what I'm saying? And that's how I've been able to just be a little different. I find something and tweak it. And I'm sure I will do that in the cold calling, text messaging, direct mail space. I'm still a newbie as far as that, but I want to get good at it. I want to hone it. I want to get some really good drip campaigns set up and voicemails and there's all kinds of bullshit and I think just continue to just add it on, add that to one more thing to how to take down a deal.
For
So
sure. No, I think it's just all about timing. Or that agent that's being a dick right now, a couple months later, his clients are getting ready to drop him, and you're the one that hits him up again. Hey, it's me again. Just call and check on you. Yeah, if they're like catch him on another day, it could be a whole different story. I
yeah,
think that's why the
exactly.
drip campaigns are so huge and followed, because you don't have to be
Yes,
doing it, and you're not the one
yes,
getting beat up.
absolutely, absolutely. Dude, it's crazy how similar we are in a lot of ways. You like to golf, you're a man of God. I saw you made that post the other day. God is good. I was like, all right, that's tight. It's cool to see other people, and we're not Bible thumpers either. You know what I'm saying we're just real guys who have a relationship with God. But that golf, you do hunting too? You a
I
hunter?
don't know. I've always wanted to try, but no, I've never
I
been.
thought I saw you post something. Was it maybe you were at some place you were staying? It was a picture of a deer. I can't
Might have
remember.
been. Yeah, I'm not sure. I was up in Vermont a bit, and there's deers everywhere, but
Yeah, maybe it's okay. I'm mistaken. But either way, I'm a big hunter myself. I just like being outdoors. I always grew up outdoors and just being in the wildlife is dope.
yeah,
It's another place. I like to ski. I like to hunt. I like golf. I like to ski, hunt, and golf. And as the seasons change, that's what I do. Now I'm getting into hunting mode, skiing mode, winter type stuff like that. Or I board. If I don't ski, I board. But
nice. I love it, man. Nah, definitely happy we connected, and we'll definitely have to golf sometime for sure.
absolutely, for sure. Like I said, I come to San Antonio all the time, so we're gonna have to link up.
Yeah, yeah, it's my score. Have you played any of the courses here?
Who I played the La Cantera.
Yeah, yeah, that was nice.
I played
There's
La
definitely nicer
Cantera with
ones.
my father-in-law, and that's it though. I really haven't played a lot of the courses there.
Nice. Yeah, there's some good ones. I like the Bandit and the Bronfos. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Not super
Oh
far,
yeah.
but yeah, if you're they're up in Northeast side, yeah, it's not too far at all, like 25 minutes at the most. But that one's super cool. But
That's
yeah,
the
there's
cool
some
thing
good ones.
about golf too, is like with the handicap system, like everybody you can play if you're a 25 handicap or a 5 handicap or whatever.
Hmm.
It's and you can still bet and do a little. I love doing $5 Nassau's. $5 on the front, $5 on the back, $5 total.
Yeah,
So if you win the back, they win the front, then whoever wins the total, it's $5 total. But just gambling with the little money, this is fun.
yeah, that makes everything more exciting for sure. Definitely a lot more
Yes,
fun.
sir. Yes, sir.
But I love it, man. Nah, I appreciate you coming on, and I know I got a bunch of great takeaways. I'm sure everyone else did as well. What's the name of your podcast again, so people
Yeah,
can
yeah,
find
yeah. The
it?
name of the
And
pod, it's Let's Buy the World, a real estate podcast. And I've got some good guests on, just had you on. Thank you, by the way. And then my group here in Amarillo is the Amarillo Buyers Club, real estate investments in parentheses. And Evan Darnell, I think my Instagram is Evan underscore Darnell Homes or something like that. So you can find me. Got some stuff all over the place. I got a YouTube page as well, so you can see my podcast there. So
I love it, man. Yeah, definitely
we
make sure
doing
you
it,
go give them a
baby.
follow. Yeah, the podcast is great. Definitely go check it out, guys. And I appreciate you guys, and we'll see y'all next week.